As she sat on her sofa surrounded by blood-smeared zombies and snarling dogs, Nina Chesworth was too terrified. 3 weeks earlier, the graphic designer had gone suddenly blind following a tragic accident at home. As she tried to negotiate a world without sight, the dogs and zombies would appear without warning. The zombies had no eyes, there was blood dripping from the eye sockets. Then I saw devil dogs baring their teeth, and ghost faces. It wasn't like I could shut my eyes and stop seeing them. They stayed right there. I didn't tell anybody for weeks, because I was worried they'd think I was having a break, but it gradually got worse and worse. The hallucinations were caused by Charles Bonnet Syndrome, now in the spotlight in a Coronation Street storyline, and an estimated 1 million partially sighted and blind people in the UK are thought to live. Sometimes the visions are benign, flowers, rainbows and cartoon characters, but often, for reasons still unknown, they are tinged with horrors such as spiders crawling from books, people crumbling to dust, ghosts, gargoyles, snarling tigers. Or what is your view? Have your say in the comments section. Something I hear a lot is that it's like being inside a horror movie, says Judith Potts, founder of Esme's Umbrella, the UK's only group dedicated. People know it's not real, but they can't switch it off. There is no cure. They can't. Coronation Street fans are now seeing the effects of the syndrome on Rovers Return landlord Johnny Connor, played by actor Richard Hawley. He's been seeing cockroaches and mice, as well as the rainbow and musical notes flying around after suffering sight problems as a result of his multiple sclerosis. Johnny thought he was losing his mind when he began to experience the visions, before being diagnosed with CBS. Nina, 38, who has been advising Corrie's writers, developed the condition. She has been severely sight-impaired since the age of 2 when she reacted badly. Over the years she had 6 corneal grafts and 2 lens transplants, but at 26 she lost the sight in her right eye completely and was registered as blind. Despite her difficulties, she set up her own graphic art design company, which she ran from the Manchester home she shares with her joiner husband Steve and their 10-year-old son Dylan. I was quite determined. I didn't want to admit I was different and I put a lot of pressure on myself, says Nina. One morning I was trying to do 50 things at once and bent over to get something out of my. There was a broken TV on the table and I headbutted the corner of the TV. It burst a hole in my eyeball and 95% of the retina came out of the. Nina was rushed to hospital and had hallucinations as soon as she came round after. She told doctors, but the condition is so rare they had no idea what she was actually experiencing. One of them said, "I guarantee that you can't see, it's just your mind playing tricks on you," she recalls. When she went home 2 weeks later, the hallucinations got worse. Her husband searched online and came across Charles Bonnet Syndrome and Esme's. Nina initially struggled with her diagnosis. "I was having to deal with my sight loss, the loss of my business and not being able to see my son's face ever again. Then I developed CBS. The fact that I didn't know anything about it, and nobody else did either, left me in a very dark place. For most people with the condition the visions come and go, but in Nina's case they're there from the moment I wake up until bedtime. Sleep can be difficult, because when I close my eyes sometimes I'll waft my face to try to get them to go," she says. While the zombies and snarling dogs would come and go, Nina discovered the less stressed she was, the more pleasant. She has retrained as a holistic therapist and finds walking and meditation help reduce the intensity of the hallucination. "If I'm more relaxed I'll see cartoon characters, which is great sometimes," she smiled. Disney specifically, so Mickey Mouse and Pooh Bear. That was my son's favorite teddy as a child, so I don't know if there's a. I've also seen Homer Simpson, unicorns, rainbows and bubbles. If the hallucinations become very intense they can be dangerously Nina says, "I've had accidents because of them. I've fallen downstairs, walked into doors and knocked things over trying to get around the hallucination. I take my son to school, but if my hallucinations are bad I don't. It's not worth it. All it takes is a split second for me to be distracted and not pay attention to the." Nina spoke to actor Richard after Coronation Street consulted campaign group Esme's Umbrella to ensure accuracy. She says, "I told him what kind of hallucinations I have, how it affects me and how I cope. He was really interested and passionate about getting it right." For Richard the conversation was he says, "It is incredibly important to do the research and find out as much as you have a responsibility to the people who are going through it for real. The brain is extraordinary. Even though there is a commonality of some types of hallucinations, it manifests itself differently for different people and everyone has their own experience with Charles Bonnet Syndrome." Charles Bonnet Syndrome. The facts. Charles Bonnet Syndrome can develop when someone loses 60% of their sight. It can happen to people of any age, even children. Commonly, sufferers report seeing figures dressed in period costume, such as Victorian, medieval or Edwardian. Others experience a variety of visions from distorted faces, animals and fire, to insects and cartoons. The hallucinations happen because the brain creates images when it's not getting enough information from the eye through reduced. King's College London neuroscientist Dr. Dominic Fitch is medical advisor to CBS campaign group Esme's Umbrella, and the sole globally acknowledged expert. He explains, the nerve cells in the retina send a constant stream of impulses along the visual pathways, which are passed to the visual parts of the brain. If the retina is damaged, the stream of impulses reduces. Paradoxically, the response of the brain is not to reduce but rather increase the cells firing, and it is this increase that causes hallucination. The distressing condition was first documented by naturalist Charles Bonnet in 1760, when he attributed his grandfather's vivid hallucinations to the glaucoma. There is no cure, although some medications can help ease the symptoms. There are various coping strategies, from reaching out towards the hallucination, to walking into another room, or blinking. Judith Potts launched Esme's Umbrella 5 years ago in memory of her mother who feared mental illness when she began to experience hallucinations. She recalls, Mum saw faceless people sat on her sofa. There was a tear-stained Edwardian Street child who was there all the time and a hideous gargoyle. Another time she found herself in the middle of an Edwardian funeral procession. At first she managed it, but the hallucinations reached terrifying proportions and it took. The syndrome is often mistaken for dementia or mental health issues, but Judith says, it's not a mental health condition, it's caused entirely by loss of sight, but we don't know why some people get it and others. We need more research. For more information on Charles Bonnet Syndrome, go to Charles Bonnet UK, email esmesumbrella@gmail.com or call the helpline on 020-7391-3299, answered by RNIB's iHealth team for Esme's Umbrella.